So what are P plates or provisional plates for a vehicle when you are registering it in Spain? Now I'm going to answer a question that we had from a client here, because they wanted to know what exactly was involved in getting the P plates, why you should have them, why you need them, and what do they cost. Okay then. So the P plates are a way of you legally driving your vehicle in Spain while you're going through the registration process here. How do they work? Well, normally if you've got a vehicle which is legal to drive in Spain, okay, while you're going through the registration process, i.e. for example if it's a UK vehicle and it's legally taxed and MOT'd, and you've got adequate insurance and you should be able to drive it. Again, vehicles from the EU, if they're adequately taxed and insured and you can prove ownership, then you can drive it here. Evidently tourists are allowed to drive as well. They're personal vehicles because they don't live here. Now the P plates come into play really for example with residents. Now we know a resident in Spain shouldn't drive a foreign registered vehicle. So albeit that most of the time, as long as you're within that first 3-month period, if you get stopped by the police and you can prove you're going through the process and you can prove that the vehicle is your vehicle, that you're doing it for change of residence and it's adequately insured and it's got all its technical inspections and everything in place from the country of origin, you may come across somebody, or a policeman shall we say, that doesn't like that. So the P plate helps you to get around that. What it does is when you get a provisional plate, you can then insure the vehicle in Spain using a Spanish insurance policy, okay, and then at the end of the registration period, when you take your P plates off and put your new plates on, your brand new registrations, then you can switch that policy for the new number plate. All right. Now the P plates, they are ordered in the DGT, and it is a pre-registration. Now it's not a case, you cannot get P plates just to put on the car and then leave the country. As far as they're concerned, when you go to the trafico department and you register for your P plates, okay, then you will have that registration with them, and they will be expecting you within 60 days to turn up with the correct documentation to finalise the registration of your vehicle. The good thing about the P plates is that you don't have to prove that the vehicle is insured, technically capable to be on the road, or anything. Okay, you just turn up. Well, you book an appointment with trafico. You need to prove evidently who you are. You need to prove where you live. Okay, and you need the vehicle documentation, and depending on the regional differences, they might ask you for other things. You definitely have to pay the whole fee for Matriculation in trafico. Okay, now you don't have to pay that twice, because once you have the P plates, as long as you come back to trafico within 60 days, then you can use the original payment to complete the registration. But if you leave it over the 60 days, then you can no longer drive on your provisional plates, and you'll also have to pay the trafico fee again. And evidently when you come to finalise the registration, you'd have to pay the relevant taxes, whether it be change of ownership, emissions, special registrations tax, and definitely the local tax. Okay. Now the P plates last for 60 days, so it's very important that before you actually order your provisional plates, that you check locally with the ITV stations to make sure that they can actually get you an appointment within that period, because the very last thing you want to do is get provisional plates, them to run out, and then get an appointment at the ITV because you still can't drive the car there. Because then what happens is you have got provisional registration in Spain, P plates are expired, and you're not allowed to drive an expired plates. Can you just put the old plates back on? Not really, not now you've got the pre-registration in Spain, because the police picked up on that, that'd be a problem. Now, the cost of the P plates, when aside from the DGT, we have to pay the matriculation fee there, which is around €100 matriculation fee. I think it's at 96 something at the moment just for that. Is normally in a special manufacturer, like they call them here recambios. They're places that sell spares, but you have to have one who's registered with the government to make the plates. They normally cost anything between 20 and 30 euros to get them made up. In fact, I think we've actually got one here. Show you what it looks like. Here's one. So this is one for a 4x4. You can get the long versions, okay, or this is a 4x4 one. Go on the back of a Land Rover. Okay then, so that's it. Just a few takeaways from that then. So the P plates, you can get them before you register your vehicle, but it's opening basically that registration on the DGT, and they're going to expect to see the registration finalised at the end of the 60 days. You can use the P plates to start an insurance policy in place in Spain, and then switch the P registration onto your final registration. You don't need to have insurance in place, and the car doesn't even need to have a technical inspection in place in the country of origin to get the P plates, because they're exactly for that. They are to get your vehicle legalised. So we have it a lot with vehicles, for example, who are in the pound. Okay, something might have been impounded because they haven't got tax and MOT, especially in Mijas. Mijas, a town near us. Crazy. The police, they'll say crazy, they're doing their job, but they come along, any vehicle they identify which hasn't got tax maybe on it, because they can check on the DVLA website, they'll pick up, put in the pound, and to be able to get that vehicle out, we have to show that they've got P plates and a pre-registration here in Spain ready to complete. Okay then, so that's the provisional plates. Obviously, you can either do this yourself at the DGT by booking an appointment on their website. At the end of this video below, I will put the DGT's website address on there, and if you want somebody to help you, evidently we do the vehicle registrations, and you can contact us, and that includes us helping you with your provisional plates and evidently the final registration at the ITV, and everything which encompasses what we call a matriculación de un vehículo. So yeah, that's it. I like to waffle on a bit, as you know, my videos. So it's quite funny because we always say matriculación, matriculation, and for years and years we said, well, what are you talking about? Because obviously in the UK you relate matriculation to maybe going to school, matriculating something, but definitely not a vehicle. So yeah, we'll stick with vehicle registration rather than vehicle matriculación. If you ever hear vehicle matriculation, it means that they're referring to getting a vehicle registered in Spain.